Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome. Welcome on this Thursday to a brand new episode of The Hot Mic. I am John Rocha here, joined as always by the Sneider himself here, Jeff Sneider. How are you?
Hello, Johnny boy! What's up, big guy?
What's up, my guy? What's up? Well, it's quite a week, Jeff. We have no Super Bowl this week. So we've got to be distracted by other things that are going on in the world, and certainly the world of entertainment. There has been a lot of controversy, a lot of drama this week, Jeff. The Oscars race is heating up with all these things that are being revealed about all these candidates. Who knew?
Zoinks!
Exactly. Zoinks. A lot of DC news, a lot of Marvel news that we're going to get into here on the show, and trailers and all kinds of stuff happening in the world of entertainment. So strap in, everybody, because we got a lot to get to today and to get through today in the show. Remember, Streamlabs Super Chats are open. You see the Streamlabs above Jeff's head. It's also pinned in the chat and the description of this video as well. And I'd just like to start out that just before the show started, not only am I drinking a nice mocha with 2 espresso shots in it, so I'm ready to go today, but also this arrived on my doorstep just before the show started. Finally, 3 weeks I've been waiting for the 4K version of this, and it is here for me to finally watch, so excited. What's in a box? All right, Jeff, how are you feeling? You ready to go? Should we jump in? What's the situation here? How are you doing?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. All right, let's start off with this one, and I think we should hit this one first, and that's the Netflix slate. Before we get into the big controversial news going on, let's ease into things as we have 250 of you joining us right off the bat here. The new Netflix slate was dropped today, an hour-long event that was held in Los Angeles. I'm not sure if Jeff Sneider got to go, but certainly a lot of things were previewed in this. We got to see some new stuff from the projects that are coming, including the Knives Out. Some new shots were dropped today. There with Benoit Blanc, also known as Daniel Craig, and Josh O'Connor, potentially 2 James Bonds in that shot there. We got to see Oscar Isaac in a shot from Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. We got to see some more news about Squid Game, some more Happy Gilmore stuff, second sequel there. But also, Jeff, a lot of other things were dropped to show that they're going to go and doing a lot of live stuff, the Mulaney stuff, the sports stuff, WWE stuff. Quite an interesting array of projects they were able to put out there over an hour. What are your thoughts coming away from this these announcements?
Did you go, Johnny?
I did not go. I live in San Diego, buddy boy. I didn't get an invitation. I might have gone if I'd gotten an invitation, but I did not go.
If you ever get invited, you can crash with me.
Yeah, I'll invite you to come. What are you talking about? Did you get a chance to go?
There's room in the bed here. No. No, I was not invited. How dare Netflix? As if I don't talk to all these people and didn't get the entire presentation afterwards, and they just ran everything. Instead, I only ran a couple of release dates.
Okay.
Just as a little elbow to remind Netflix who's really in charge here. I mean, I think they have a pretty good slate.
Yeah.
That's why there's a price hike, right? You got to pay for all this extra stuff. And I get, okay, maybe I don't watch Monday Night Raw or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like everybody's paying for everybody's stuff, right? We all have to take on the extra tax. And it'll allow Netflix to experiment and do those kinds of things like Mulaney's show and add comedy specials and all that stuff. So eventually they'll find something that does appeal to you.
Yeah. I think what she said is that they've got to cater to 700 million subscribers or whatever, and they want to.
By the way, it's really 300 million, but she's saying 700 because she does like an average of like 2.3 or whatever per household.
Yeah,
hilarious, just the way that these things are counted and inflated. But go on.
I think it was insane that you release a trailer in anticipation for this, and there's no WWE stuff on the trailer. By the way, what a fantastic trailer. Shout out to that young actress who got a chance to do all those different Netflix programs in the trailer, but no WWE. And then she walks out with a WWE championship belt. The audacity of non-wrestling fans to walk out and wear those belts and then don't give love to the WWE in your trailer. I know CM Punk was there. I know Rhea Ripley was there. But still, it was an interesting combination of things, Jeff. The Frankenstein stuff, I mean, bless you, Guillermo del Toro got to talk about it. Tina Fey pitched her 4 seasons. That's a remake of the old Alan Alda film that I remember watching. We got stuff with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, some unscripted stuff, the sports stuff, new game shows where you're going to be able to vote from your house. The Duffer Brothers there announcing that they're going to stay at Netflix and they got new projects coming. So this was a massive, I think, pulling our proverbial cock out, and showing everybody how large it is to all the streaming services who thought you could come into our yard in 2020 and the big dog is still eating and you're all sitting there whimpering in the corner now, not sure if you should have come into the yard. This is what the presentation felt like to me, Jeff. Am I wrong on this?
I mean, it's definitely supposed to reassure investors and to cement it as, as to why this is $1,000 stock.
Yeah.
Right. So it has to reassure people that the future, because that's what people are betting on with Wall Street, right? It's all about the future. And that's what they have to preview. They have to trot out the Catherine Bigelow stuff, Tom Hardy, both Duffer Brothers shows. They have 2 shows in the works, the Burrows and then that wedding show. Something
very bad is going to happen. Yes.
Right. Exactly. So I just really like the diversity that Netflix offers. Like, it's one, I don't think that you see, I imagine that you see less churn at Netflix than other streamers because there's always something.
Yeah.
And even just like, I got home last night from a movie at 9. I went to look at Netflix because I was just going to watch Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And I saw a docuseries that I caught my eye, and I ended up watching 3 hours of it.
Which is?
They did a Gabby Petito one.
Oh, yes.
I can't talk about it until mid-February. But yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. But you watched the OJ one, which is out now for people to watch.
I watched that whole 4-hour thing. Like, I wasn't planning to watch another OJ thing. I was kind of like, ugh, do I really want to immerse myself in the story again?
Yeah.
But I thought that they found an interesting way into it. I like the producers behind that series. They also did one on the Boston Marathon bombing. So,
that was
shit that I give Netflix as to how they operate, right?
Yeah.
They may not invite me. I'm still like, literally right above me being a baby and saying, well, here's the release dates for the old guard too, because I wasn't invited. I'm giving Netflix its props for this OJ series. So it doesn't cloud my opinion of the actual product.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there was such a wide array of stuff. And of course they didn't cover everything within the hour, but certainly there was a lot of stuff released to let you know all the stuff that's coming down the pike here. And of course they announced the release date for season 3 of Squid Games, June 27th. So that doesn't feel like that long away here, Jeff. We're already through January. It'll be February in a couple days. So we're only 5 months away from this damn thing coming out. So that's kind of crazy to get people excited for a summer release of Squid Game. I think it's really smart.
I mean, I think it's why you shoot them back to back. Obviously, there are production advantages, financial incentives to do that. But I think it's to capitalize on the momentum.
Yeah.
It's like maybe I don't think Stranger Things would be ready, but let's just say it was.
Yeah.
You've already made people wait this long for Stranger Things. Why make people wait another 6 months for the conclusion of Squid Game? Just give that to them now if it's ready. And we're going to have to probably wait until November for Stranger Things. I don't think that they released a date for it.
Yeah.
I think they just said the fall, but
the fall.
It probably will be that rumored November 27th date. I think you'll see Wednesday in Q3.
Oh, that sounds about right. Yeah. Well, I mean, what she said was, we're not just one thing. We're the best of film, TV, documentary, stand-up, animation, live events, and we're doing it in 50 languages. We're not afraid to make big bets on compelling voices and new ideas, whether it's a plot twist, original story, or a big live moment. And as Jeff said, they announced all kinds of a partnership with Lena Dunham. Tyler Perry has a couple of things coming here on Netflix. There's a bunch of new documentaries, one on Manson, one on Osama bin Laden, on Katrina. The WWE 2K games are going to become mobile. They teased soccer and hockey in that trailer, so probably going live with some events that they're going to cover there on Netflix. As we said here earlier, the 0 Day stuff they announced as well. For those of you who like that Ginny and Georgia stuff, there was stuff announced there as well. Wednesday was focused. Death by Lightning, which is the Benioff and Weiss one, and Black Rabbit was focused, and The Beast in Me with Danes and Matthew Rhys. So, dude, they covered a lot. Huh?
Black Mirror too, right?
Yeah, Black Mirror as well. Yeah, there was so much that was covered in this. So, like you said, if you're an investor, if you're someone who's looking at Netflix right now, you got to be like, wow, this is great, and the success of Emilia Perez, we're going to talk about the lead actress in that film in a little bit, but the success of Emilia Perez, 13 nominations at the Oscars, cleaning up at the Golden Globes. This was like a companion piece to that. Netflix is now kind of taking over the entertainment industry in a way that maybe people were concerned about a few years ago, if they were even going to still be around. And what a way to come back.
Get away with it. I mean, Apple and Amazon still have plenty of good shows. Like, don't get me wrong. But yeah, it is tough to argue with Netflix just being the one that everyone always has, and then they'll get the other ones based on, is there something that they want to watch?
Yeah, exactly. Anything more you want to say on this? Anything stood out to you? Anything you were impressed by throughout this presentation, or any of the announcements that you want to make sure we highlight that we didn't touch on?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
Okay, we good to move on? Well, let's move on to the story you broke, bro. Let's bring my South American Latino brother here up, John Leguizamo. John Leguizamo, you broke this story earlier today that he has been cast in the Odyssey with all these great actors like Matt Damon and John Bernthal, Benny Safdie, Charlize, Anne Hathaway, Tom Holland, Pattinson, Lupita, Zendaya. He's joining this cast, and you're right up really focused on the fact that this is a veteran actor stepping into a role here. Now, sometimes people overlook how great John is, but he's been a part of so many interesting and fun films over the last 3 to 4 decades. So kind of interesting to see him being a part of a Christopher Nolan film. What are your thoughts on your own scoop, and how did this come about, and were you surprised by it?
I mean, John Leguizamo is just a great actor. He really doesn't get the credit he deserves. I feel like he's super underrated. And he's done it for 40 years now.
Yeah.
He was on Miami Vice in the mid-'80s.
Yeah, I remember, bro. I remember.
I think he's a great character actor. I called him a national treasure because I do think of him. I didn't call him this exactly, but he's like the Latino Woody Harrelson for me. Like, he just makes everything better. I don't ever see him and he disappoints or takes away. He's just always a plus.
Yeah.
And so, it's just great to see him get the tap on the shoulder from Nolan and go play with Hollywood's it people, I guess.
Yeah. It's going to be fascinating to see what role he's going to play. Is it going to be a big role? Is it going to be a medium-sized role? Is it going to be just in a few scenes? What is it going to be?
A supporting role of some...
Maybe on the ship? Maybe on the ship as part of his crew? Maybe. I don't know.
Again, I have no idea. I mean, when I first heard it, my instinct was is he Zendaya's father or something like that? It's something stupid and reductive, I'm sure. But I have no idea what the role is. It's been a long time since I ever had to pretend to read the Odyssey.
Yeah.
I was delighted when I heard it.
Yeah, I think it's great. I love John as well. As we've talked about, there weren't that many Latino actors growing up when I was watching stuff on TV. John was one of those guys. Tony Plana was one of those guys. Benjamin Bratt. There's only so many that you got to see, and they played Latinos from all the different countries all over the world because there weren't so many Latin actors that were working. And Edward James Olmos, speaking of Miami Vice, another one. So it was great to see him kind of grow, and he's become an outspoken advocate for inclusion and diversity for Latinos in work. And is he always right? No, made that Zoe Saldana mistake, and he sometimes will step on his own toes, but the heart is in the right place, and the desire for uplifting Latinos is there. So being a part of a Christopher Nolan film, that's a great spotlight to get shown on.
That's what I thought. I'm again. It's easy to say, I want Robert Pattinson and Zendaya and Tom Holland and all these stars, right?
Yeah.
Benny Safdie, John Bernthal. Yeah, these guys are still pretty hot, right? Yeah. And Benny Safdie joined the cast as well.
Yes,
this week.
That's right.
A reunion for the Oppenheimer team. But to me, the Leguizamo thing was the coolest because it was the most unexpected of all the names that have been announced.
Yeah. I agree. Oh, great reference, Akers. Yeah. Fucking Carlito's Way, of course.
Benny Blanco.
Benny Blanco. From the Bronx. Maybe you don't know me. From the Bronx. Maybe you don't know me. I love that role.
I did my little love letter. I got to write 2 love letters this week to actors who I love, and just a nice reward, a little cherry on a 40-year career for Leguizamo, and hopefully it's a cool role.
Yeah, I agree. I hope so as well. Let's keep going with your love fest. Let's move on to the other story that you broke here. Jake Gyllenhaal. You said that when you wrote this, you were hearing that Jake Gyllenhaal is going to star in M. Night Shyamalan's next movie, and then it was confirmed by the trades that it is officially happening. That he will be leading this one. It's an interesting decision for both of them for where they're at in their careers. M. Night coming off of decently well received Trap. Old didn't do quite so well. But people still go to see his movies. That movie, Trap, made $83 million off a $30 million budget with Josh Hartnett, and before that with Gael Garcia Bernal and Old. But Jake coming off of Roadhouse. But you mentioned in your article, he's got a bunch of other projects that are just kind of sitting on the shelf or waiting to come out. So this is an interesting decision. I don't think I would have ever put these two together.
Really? Because I feel like it was like so obvious. It was like sitting there. Like, when I heard these 2 names, it was like, oh, of course. Like, how have I not heard this before? They have like very similar sensibilities almost. Right.
And people forget how, he had Bruce Willis in the lead of his movie. He had, what am I thinking? Samuel L. Jackson in the lead of his movies before Unbreakable. And then moving on to Mel Gibson, who at the time was a very big name as the lead in Signs. So, and then Joaquin and what happened?
The scene roughly around the same time, Shyamalan and Shyamalan.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to think of these people with like their careers, right? And they're on parallel tracks, and so Jake's going like this, and then Knight's going like this, and then at some point the tracks converge.
Yeah.
Like, this is now the perfect point for us to work together.
Yeah.
So I didn't know, obviously. I just knew that they were going to work together. I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know what the title was. I didn't know even what the studio was, even though I figured it would be at Warner Brothers because Shyamalan has the first look deal there.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like Trap was going to be a one-off. Maybe if Trap had bombed horribly, Warner Brothers would have been like, okay, we're good. But, it worked out fine for everybody.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, why wouldn't you have him back? Anyways, I posted it, and I couldn't. I kind of had the inkling that it was the kind of thing that the trades may have been holding.
Yeah, right.
I didn't reach out to. I did give Knight's team a call before I posted, but I didn't call Jake's, which I felt bad about because I like Jake and his team, but just felt like it was really booby trapped, too many landmines. And so, I broke it. And then 40 minutes later, whatever, Kroll came in with the full story, which is the, twist. Nicholas Sparks is involved in this.
Yeah. Let's talk about that, please.
You go.
Oh, it's a fascinating situation here. Of all the people, Nicholas Sparks being involved with Shyamalan and Jake Gyllenhaal, I was really surprised by that as well, because it's like, how did this connection even line up is the question that I would have with all of this, because it's based on an original story co-created by Shyamalan and Nicholas Sparks here. Shyamalan and Sparks are independently writing the screenplay and a novel based on the same original love story. So where are we going with this? Is there going to be a twist? Is there not going to be a twist? Is this Shyamalan going a little Hollywood, a little mainstream, or is there going to be something more involved in here? Because you couldn't find 2 more different points of views than Shyamalan and Nicholas Sparks on things. So how the hell do they come together, man?
Here's the thing. For all my asshole tendencies, am a romantic at heart. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
That's for sure.
And I recognize in their work that Jake and Knight are romantics as well.
Sure. Okay.
I think based on like the things that they do, I can tell. And so I think that there's something about a Nicholas Sparks kind of traditional romance that would appeal to them.
Yeah.
And I could see how Knight could take the setup for a Nicholas Sparks book and put a dark twist on it. And that's what I'm curious about. It's like, are they telling the same story with the same ending and all that? Or is it like, hey, we have the same, we have this setup that we love, and Knight's like, well, I want to take it in this direction, and Nick Sparks is like, well, I think that this direction is good. And are we going to get two different endings, essentially? The book is different than the movie, right? Because we didn't know that they're necessarily supposed to be one and the same. I think it's two different takes on the same story.
That's what it seems like from the write-up here, that Shyamalan and Sparks are independently writing a screenplay and a novel based on the same original love story. Well, it will cross over. So, yeah, maybe there is. We're going to take it one way in the novel. We're going to take it another way in the movie. And look, that's happened before, even when writers and screenwriters did not write at the same time from the same story. Like an adaptation takes the idea and goes a certain direction with it, right? Adaptation, the film itself, what it was adapting, was it the Orchid or Wild Orchid, whatever it was, completely different book than the movie that we got. So it happens at times that way. So why not make it intentional and see what the end results are going to be?
I'll put it this way, John. Think of the movie Ghost, okay?
Yeah.
What's the defining image from the movie Ghost?
Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore kissing at the end, even though he's a ghost.
No, that is not the image.
Or is them on the clay wheel? Do you mean them on the clay wheel?
I mean, but it's the same. The point is the same.
Yeah.
It's the romance, right?
Romance.
That movie is actually remembered for the romance.
Yes.
And yet at points it's fucking terrifying. Okay. And I feel like, and that's where my head went, where it's like, oh, I could see Nick Sparks focusing on the romance of a story.
Right.
And Shyamalan focusing on the darkness.
Yeah.
So either way, I thought it was really cool. I was not aware of it. It caught me off guard. So props to Kroll on adding that part of the scoop, at deadline.
Yeah. Pretty surprising stuff to see them two coming together. That's interesting. All right, let's move on to this other story here, Jeff. You wrote about this in your article, in your newsletter as well, but we got the Super Bowl coming, and we got quite a few studios that are going to be putting their stuff up there for the Super Bowl. It's going to be like $8 million a spot or some kind of madness like this. But one of the people not putting up not putting up a trailer during the Super Bowl is WB here with Superman. They are not putting up a trailer during the Super Bowl, which is super surprising. The teaser was received with a lot of controversy because of that damn barrel roll. But we are going to get trailers for Captain America, Brave New World, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, Snow White, Lilo and Stitch, Elio, Jurassic World Rebirth, Train Your Dragon, How to Train Your Dragon, Megan, and then Mission Impossible, and then that Smurfs film, but no Superman. So how do you read this? Do they not want to get criticism? Are they afraid of the film? There's 120 million people who might be watching the Super Bowl, even though they hate the Chiefs and the Eagles. What are your thoughts on this?
It's all about, is it worth the money? Right? 7.5, 8 million for a 30-second spot. That's a lot.
It's a lot of money, bro.
I think so. It's like, it may just be a corporate thing from Zaz where it's like, I'm not fucking paying for that.
Yeah.
We can reach half as many people for a fraction of the price at the AFC, NFC games. Yeah. And then they are doing, to their credit, they are doing something for the Puppy Bowl, which is a clever tie-in with how big crypto is supposed to, the size of the role that he's supposed to play in the movie. But
yeah,
you're right. The fact is, on Monday morning, we're going to talk about the commercials. We're going to talk about the trailers that aired during the big game, and Superman's not going to be in that conversation. And so it's like, well, why not? And does Warner Brothers need to go bigger for Superman, given how much is on the line here? I think it's both a defensible decision, but also a head-scratching one. I
think it's a big head-scratcher. And I think it screams, we're afraid. I mean, the people have coming after this movie. Everything they put out there gets this massive backlash. The trailer itself, a lot of people loved the trailer, but then there were some people who didn't like the look of it and the CGI and the overall energy here. We were promised a farm boy from Kansas, Norman Rockwellian future. Why are Superman? Why are people throwing cans at Superman? Why is there more of a darker edge to this film that it wasn't what was promised? Now this teaser comes out during the AFC NFC Championship games, and people are writing all over the place and doing YouTube videos about a barrel roll, so much so that James Gunn has to come out and tweet out and clarify that there was no CGI in the shot. It is just the way his face moved when they were doing that stunt there as they were shooting the shot. So to me, this screen, and they're not going to be at Comic-Con. I wonder if they're going to be at CinemaCon. And so you go like, well, what's the overall?
They're going to be at CinemaCon, but they're supposedly not going to screen the movie. Like
they're going to screen the movie, and that's what I mean. They're not going to screen the
movie. Screen the movie, though. I mean, I think that would be a crazy decision to screen the movie that early.
Well, they screened Flash. They screened Top Gun Maverick.
The Flash isn't Superman.
All right. But yeah, I don't understand it because Disney clearly is shelling out a crap ton of money to put their movies up there for 30 seconds. I just don't understand the logic here. And to me, again, it just screams like we're afraid. We've been burned now a couple times. We don't want to put anything out there. And the Puppy Bowl is about as safe as, like, if they didn't do the Puppy Bowl, maybe I'd be like, okay, I understand they don't want to spend the money. But the fact that they're doing the Puppy Bowl, which is the lower thing to be doing, no offense to all you puppy owners, only 12 million people tops or less are going to be watching that Puppy Bowl. What are you doing with crypto on that puppy? No one's flipping over. It makes no sense.
These are all decisions, though, that have been made a while ago. It's not like they released the second teaser or whatever, the second trailer with the barrel roll last week during the AFC NFC games, and the reaction wasn't good. And they're like, "Oh, we're not going to put it on the Super Bowl now." The airtime was already sold out.
That's true.
So, I don't think it has anything to do with that. It's a conscious decision. We're not going to do the Super Bowl as a studio. Not for any of our movies.
Yeah.
And we're gonna, bet it on the championship games, which still have a huge audience, obviously. It's half the size. What else did you want to talk about this week?
Warner Brothers, Amazon, MGM, Lionsgate, and Apple are not going to be putting anything else on this. So I don't want to be unfair to Warner Brothers. Your logic on this.
Right, exactly. We don't want to single them out. There's a bunch of studios that are sitting out. It's only like 3 studios that are actually advertising.
Yeah.
But it does seem to help, Yeah.
Flash was the last thing they showed during the Super Bowl, Warner Brothers, and that didn't. I mean, I thought the reaction from that trailer, everyone was very excited about that trailer. And then, of course, the movie came out and didn't quite do so well. So
that stuff, Matt, like, the trailer views and all this stuff, it's one thing when you're offering something for free to people.
Sure.
And another one you have to make them pay for it. Trust me, I know.
That's a fair point. I don't know. I think it's fascinating, but we'll see what the end result is going to be on that.
Regarding the marketing stuff, the other part of that story that I wrote late last night was like, if you're Warner Brothers in DC, you have to be making plans to get Gunn or Corn Sweat on Joe Rogan, right?
What? Why? Why would they go on Joe Rogan?
Why would they not? What do you mean? That is where you have to meet the audience where they are, John. And if the country is listening to Joe Rogan.
Come on. How many of those Roganites are like, I can't wait to see Superman? Bullshit.
Those are the people you have to get, John. You have to get the people who are skeptical about seeing Superman. You can't just market to people who say, I'm so psyched to see Superman. You already have their money.
What are you getting emotional? Just saying. I think you're off base on this. I think you give way too much credit to to those idiots over there, Theo Vaughn, all those fools. You give way too much credit to that shit. You don't need to cater to them.
Look at the trades who say now, like, this is how you reach people. This is how Trump won, because Trump went on these fucking podcasts and talked to these fucking people.
Those people were already going to vote for him. It's not like if Kamala Harris had shown up on Rogan, people be like, you know what? She made some excellent points. I'm not going to vote for the white guy.
Didn't, and she tuned everybody out, right? She tunes out that side of the country, and don't be surprised when you lose.
She still almost got 75 million votes, so she only lost by 1.5%.
And a bag of chips and get you fucking, like, what the fuck?
No, listen, you might be right. I don't think her going on those podcasts would have gotten her 2 to 3 million extra votes to beat Trump. I don't think that was ever going to happen. And because those guys are conditioned who listen to that podcast, they're conditioned to believe one way about the world from the nonsense. He had Mel Gibson on there spouting it. Nonsensical.
Wouldn't you write like Superman or James Gunn be like, hey, man, this is what Superman stands for. This is what I think America stands for. And like, that is the audience that you need to reach to make this a $1 billion movie and not a movie that makes $450 to $750 million.
Moana 2 is going to make $1 billion. How many Roganites were watching fucking Moana 2? Get the fuck out of here, Jeff. There are certain things you can appeal to that you don't have to appeal to with Rogan and the rest of their mongoloids. It's not, you don't have to do that. You can go.
I'll put it to you this way, John.
Okay.
If I were to, agree with you and say, all right, John, you get your way. You're the head of DCPR. These guys aren't going to do Joe Rogan. They're not going to do Theo Von. And the movie gets 450 to 750.
Yeah.
Guess what happens the day after that, John?
What?
You're fired.
That the movie gets $450 to $750 million?
Yes. If it doesn't gross $1 billion, and it's because, we left something on the table. We didn't try everything we could. We didn't put these people on Joe Rogan. If it tops out below 750, you're fired.
Okay.
Are you still not putting them on?
Oh, hold on, because you're assuming that if they go on, it's a sterling interview. There's no mistakes made. No one says the wrong thing.
It could get
no
ugly.
one gets trapped. Like, come on. I think you go on those podcasts, and I think they're See, the thing is, you have to understand those podcasts when you're not in that what do you call that bubble, right-wing bubble. If you go on there, they are looking to trap you. They are looking to ask you a question that puts you on the spot. And the way Joe does it, he'll be like, hey, so I was watching something and I thought, what about this? That's weird. This conspiracy theory. And then boom, he slides it right in underneath, really chill. And then you have to answer. And so you're stuck. And I don't know that. Well, I think, you know what? Here's what I say. I think James Gunn would be just fine on Rogan. I don't know that I would trust Corin Sweat. I don't know that I would trust Rachel Brosnahan.
Because he's new and young and untested with media. But Gunn,
right. And Gunn has been irreverent at times with his tweets in years past. So I think Gunn could roll with Rogan, no problem. You're asking me, do I need him? Do I think he needs to go on? No. But if he went on, I think Gunn is who you send. And look, Zaglov is a right winger, so he might be being like, hey, you're going to send them on Rogan.
If not this movie, like, what are you waiting to use that chip for? I just feel like you absolutely need to put Gunn or Corin Sweat or Holt, but probably Gunn on Rogan.
If Gunn is smart, he goes on there with Jennifer Holland. If Gunn is smart, they go as a pair. You promote Peacemaker and you promote Superman. Of course, Cena will probably go on at some point down the road because he has no fear with that stuff.
Past politics. Right?
Yeah, right. Well, I understand that, but they've got to look past politics first. Then we'll look past politics, and they don't. So there's a bit of a disingenuous.
No, you don't. You're trying to sell a fucking movie, okay? And so Superman appeals to the left and the right. I don't understand this.
Yes, certain versions of Superman appeal to the left and right, but it feels like people are coming after this Superman because it's not right-wing enough, and I think that's where the trouble may lie if you go on the shows.
Superman's not right-wing enough? What?
Your logic, I mean, some people feel, your logic, times have changed. This isn't the 1950s or the 1970s, Jeff. This is 2025, and people have very distinct points of views on what is American and what is not American, what is patriotic, what is not patriotic, and so it's not a coming together. I would love it if it was a coming together, of course, but there's not anymore.
People are investing where it can be, and that's what I'm saying. You have to make the outreach. If you want to just ignore, if DC and James Gunn just want to ignore half the country, be my guest and look where it gets you. Watch.
Yeah, I don't know if Rogan's half the country.
Anyways, go on.
A good spirited debate, which I appreciate.
Indeed.
Let's see, what else have we got here? Oh, speaking of right wing or left wing, let's talk about it. Seems like a perfect segue to this gentleman here. Anthony Mackie got himself in a little bit of hot water earlier this week, Jeff, when he was in Rome for the international junket for Captain America: Brave New World, and he was asked about what Captain America represents distinctly, or represents America. And he said Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term, America should be one of those representations. It's about a man who keeps his word, who has honor, dignity, and integrity, someone who is trustworthy and dependable. Well, he got a lot of backlash for what sounded like him saying Captain America is not America, and then followed it up with Instagram story saying, let me be clear about this. I'm a proud American, and taking on the shield of a hero like Cap is the honor of a lifetime. I have the utmost respect for those who serve and have served our country. Cap has universal characteristics that people all over the world can relate to. Now, a lot of people push back on the controversy, saying Chris Evans said the same thing, essentially back in 2011, how he doesn't see Captain America as just America. It's Captain Good. It doesn't represent America necessarily. So what do you think? Is this a lot of hullabaloo over nothing, or is this just a stepping into a pile of shit on accident by Mackie?
Absolutely nothing.
You don't think
absolute non-story here. Nothing to see. The media is embarrassing. I mean, shit. If I was an editor at these publications and someone pitched me this, I would be like, ignore. And that's the difference. There's just no editors making like editorial decisions anymore. It's just like, there's a story, I want it. No, why do we need it? Should we have it? Is it true? Is it bullshit? What's the merit of it? What's the nutritional value, educational value, entertaining value, anything? Nothing. Editors are just out to lunch.
Well, then I'm going to turn this around on you. What you just said to me a couple of minutes ago, if I picture this story and I'm the owner of the paper and you don't run with this, or the owner of the site, and you don't run with this story, and the story you do go with gets me 100 million hits instead of 1 billion hits, and another trade gets 1 billion hits for covering this story, you're fired. So I don't understand how you think this isn't coverable, considering it blew up on social media.
You just literally illustrated the problem with the entire community, John.
Of course, the reality.
Clicks. It's chasing clicks.
You're right.
This is a bullshit story that people wrote for clicks, not because people need to know it, not because they personally believe there's a problem with it, but just because they knew people would click on it. And that's the problem. And that's why I never did that at any site I've run. I've never looked at the traffic at any site I've run. The traffic just went up and up and up and up on its own because I have good fucking instincts and don't need the fucking internet to tell me what it wants. I give the internet what it needs.
Gabagoo. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, this clearly blew up with the right wingers who were going crazy about it, saying he doesn't like America. He doesn't want to represent America. And look, the thing you have to look at it is, I don't think he said anything wrong. I think he was trying to essentially say that these aren't just American ideals. These are ideals across the board. He is not just a Captain America for America. He's for the world, which is essentially what he was saying.
Cap represents, he doesn't just represent America. He represents the American ideal, and that is supposed to represent all of humanity and the world and the best of us.
Exactly. And I think that there's a forum to have that conversation, maybe with he just did an Esquire article interview. Maybe that was the forum for a response like this. But in a junket, when you're trying to get people to come see your show or come see your movie, and the movie's had multiple reshoots, it's already pushing a boulder up the hill. The last thing you want to do is make a comment like this that can be misconstrued in a certain way. You just want to say pretty bland stuff, and supportive stuff, and just get through the junkets. And
John Rocha to movie stars. Just shut up and say bland stuff to sell your fucking movie.
Hey, can I show you how many millions of athletes are beloved because they just say we take it one game at a time, one play at a time. We're not looking past next week. That's what you say. You don't give them anything to write about.
Well, it's not interesting, and that's why Mackie always has been interesting. It's why I love Mackie.
I agree.
Okay? Because Mackie speaks his mind.
Yes.
And doesn't say the fucking right thing all the time.
Yes,
and that's why the media came after him with this, because the media clearly has a problem with Anthony Mackie.
It seems like, and I think it's unfair.
Well liked.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, Jeff. I like Anthony. I like that he speaks his mind. That Esquire article that's out now, I really enjoyed reading that. I like that he's his own person, and he knows it. Like, there's a confidence or an arrogance or conceitedness or a belief in himself, however you want to look at it, that Anthony carries. And he's had to struggle and fight to achieve the things that he's achieved. He's a black man who is very aware of his blackness in America. I think the reason Marvel cast him in this role is because they've seen who Anthony is as a person, and they want to handle the mantle to him to see how he can handle it. That being said, I just don't think this was the right forum for him to say this. I think he has every right to say this, just this wasn't maybe the best forum to go overall, get the point across what he was trying to say, which I think is valid.
This is Marvel's own fault. You stick him in a junket setting, you never know what's going to come out of Mackie's mouth. He's that's just not how you do Mackie. And I could have told you that.
Yeah. There's even a sequence in the Esquire article when a mother and a child try to come up and say hi to him, and he's kind of like keep him at a distance. So he does his own thing.
Listen, Mackie's got a little ego on him, but Mackie is a man of the people.
You want to make it in this business, you got to have an ego, Jeff. A lot of people need to have an ego to make it in this
Of course,
business.
and he doesn't. Listen, he's gotten a lot of shit for that comment about how he should have been nominated for 4 Oscars. You see that?
I think there's nothing wrong with believing in the work you've done. I don't understand why
it's like when people get down on receivers for thinking they're the greatest receiver ever, and their name isn't Jerry Rice. That's what this is the mentality you have to have.
I think it's funny because I bet 95% of the people coming after him for saying that in their own lives go, I should have gotten that job, not that guy or not that woman. I should have been promoted. I should be in charge. Dude, our business is full of people who are crying. I should be hosting at Hall H. I'm just as good as this person. I should be doing panels. I should be at Paley Center. The business is full of people who think they should be doing more, yet they're the ones calling out someone who feels confident about his work.
I'm no different. Yeah, like, where's my semaphore profile from Smith?
Where's my Netflix invite? Yeah, exactly.
But in my case, it's true. I've earned it, and that's the thing. Mackie has too. Mackie is underappreciated for the fact that is there a bigger? Is there a bigger black actor in the MCU? Yes, Michael B. Jordan. Yes, Chadwick Boseman. Yes, Don Cheadle. They've all been in like one movie.
Yeah.
He's he's the biggest black actor in the MCU.
You're probably true. I mean, like, what's his face? Cheadle has been in multiple Marvel movies, but he's never really been the standout. Mackie has been handed the mantle of Captain America. That's massive. Chadwick, sadly, only in 2 movies.
Right, obviously sad and tragic, but
great points. Sam Jackson, Michael. Yeah, you're right. Sam.
Fair enough. Sam Jackson is definitely a bigger part of the MCU than Mackie, but like Mackie's a pretty big fucking movie star and doesn't really always get the props that he's due.
I agree.
Or as an actor, like again, he said 4 movies. I may have said Half Nelson and Hurt Locker.
Sure.
There's probably 2 other movies that he feels pretty passionate about, whether that's The Banker or Shelter. He was really good in that indie movie. Yeah. But like he to me, he doesn't get his desserts, and I think he's a little frustrated about that. And I think he has every right to be.
But I'll tell you this, I think in a low key way, if you're reading in between the lines, what he essentially is saying is that black actors don't get nominated at the rates that other actors do, especially white actors, and their work doesn't get respected in the same breath. It's not a coincidence that he brought up Jeremy Renner in comparison to him not being nominated, right? It's not a coincidence, and I think him and Jeremy obviously get along well, part of the MCU, but it's true that a lot of black actors feel like their work has been overlooked over the years, or like a lot of people felt a couple of years ago, not awarded. And a lot of people felt Angela Bassett should have won that Best Supporting Actress, not Jamie Lee Curtis. So you see that is absolutely an element of the black community when it comes to acting and awards and getting nominated for awards. It's not been easy. The fact that you can count on one hand how many black actors have won Oscars is both male and female, is a sad indictment of the industry. So I think in some low key, kind of read between the lines type of way, that's what he was essentially saying. So
I want to move on soon, but I do think he has just like a chip on his shoulder from Hurt Locker, because that when you won Best Picture, Renner was nominated. And I think, Mackie was there every step of the way. And I think he felt he deserved a supporting nod and didn't get it. I think if Half Nelson had been around in a year where there were 10 Best Picture nominees,
right,
the movie could have slipped in, and that could have, elevated him to a nomination for that movie. But it's like he's supporting Renner, a white guy who gets the nomination. He's supporting Gosling and Half Nelson, a white guy who gets the nomination. I do think that there is some frustration there. And again, I think it's understandable.
I would put his Pain and Gain performance. I would put what he did in $1 Million Baby, and I would definitely put Papa Doc in 8 Mile. People forget the reason 8 Mile works isn't just because Eminem is good. It's because Papa Doc is a damn good antagonist throughout the whole movie. Mackie is fantastic in that film. Got no love for that in terms of the award. So yeah, I hear you. But connected to Mackie, let's move on to this story, Jeff. This broke within the Esquire article that Chris Evans has said that he is not going to come back for Avengers Doomsday. It's not true. This always happens. I mean, it happens every couple of years. Ever since Endgame, I've stopped responding to it. Yeah, no, happily retired. And this was in the article because Anthony Mackie, the reporter, asked him, when did you hear about it? And he said he heard about it through his manager when it broke in the trades, because he called Chris, and Chris said, no, I'm happily retired. And then it was in the trades that he was coming back. And then Chris Evans responded saying that he is still happily retired. He's not coming back. So is this Andrew Garfield bullshit, or is this legitimate, do you think? What's your smell test tell you?
As Jamie just said, actors lie, film in 11. Yeah, like, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about?
I don't know, man. I mean, Evans isn't really known for, being a bullshit artist. So I don't know.
You know who else is not known for being a bullshit artist?
Ooh, Andrew Garfield.
Variety magazine.
Oh, true.
Variety posted the fucking article that Chris Evans will be back. So you tell me.
It was Variety and Deadline, but yes, I get your point. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I just like. Are we gonna do this for everybody? Are we gonna do this for 80 fucking actors over the next 6 months?
No, I'm
so over playing games with Marvel and with these fucking actors and hiding over who's and what and which way. I'll let all kinds of cats out of the bag right now.
Oh, you really? Are you saying you're going to right now?
I mean, I'm happy to.
Go ahead. What cats do you want to let out of the bag?
Let's take a look.
Let's see. What do you got for us, man? I don't have a cat symbol.
Hold on.
Let's put this together here.
Breaking
news.
Now you're putting me on the spot.
Yeah, you talked your shit. You better back it up. Don't talk your shit. You know better than to do that on this show, because I'll call you out to make you do it. So.
Shit. All right. Well, remember that casting thing that I said I've wanted to keep under my belts? Just a little rumor. Now, you can take this with a huge grain of salt.
Okay.
But obviously they are starting to potentially put out feelers for certain X-Men.
Jeff, what's in a bag? What's in a bag? Yeah, all right. Go ahead. Yes.
If you looked this week, if you paid attention, there was a big cover story in the Hollywood Reporter on one Harris Dickinson.
Yes.
Who's obviously going to be very busy with the Beatles movies.
If they're actually staying on track, because they might be pushed, right?
It sounds like they are. But and then I'm like, well, how could he do a Marvel thing and the Beatles? And then it's like, well, isn't Joseph Quinn doing that? Joseph Quinn's also, Fantastic Four. That's gonna, that'll probably be a part of Doomsday or whatever.
Yes.
And he's gonna be in the Beatles stuff. So I don't fucking know. Anyways, the rumor is that Dickinson may very well be being looked at for Cyclops.
Wow. Ooh, interesting.
In the same way that Sadie Sink is on the short list to play, Jean Grey.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that Dickinson.
Interesting.
That's a pretty major article that THR, did it for him. It's kind of like the sort of art. Obviously, it's a whole thing tied to the Beatles, and I'm sure that announcement is coming very soon.
Right.
But it just feels like, hey, this guy's going to get a huge studio franchise thing after. And we talked about him when they were casting Superman.
Yes.
I thought he maybe was a little too scrawny.
Right. Yeah.
He couldn't really fill out like Corn Sweat could. Maybe he wasn't the right fit there. He could have played Lex Luthor too. But the point is, he's going to get something big and huge, and I wouldn't be shocked if that turned out to be it.
I mean, him and Sadie Sink as Cyclops and Jean Grey, that's a hell of a combo.
That's a really good starting point.
I'm saying those are some strong actors to bring into those roles. No offense to anybody who's played them before, but maybe the strongest actors who've ever played those characters before. So I would be very curious to see if those are the two that end up being the tent poles for this X-Men movie. So, interesting, Jeff. I like it.
A lot of people are like, big age difference.
It's 6 years.
Who gives a shit? If you told me he was 26 years old and that she was 24 years old right now, I'd be like, sure. First of all, I'm 40 years old. I have no idea how old anybody is. No idea. I could be looking at a 15-year-old person and they turn out to be 30.
Yeah, I am.
I have no clue. But anyways,
I'm 30.
That has been the rumor, and I've heard it from two people now that I may want to keep an eye on Dickinson for Cyclops part.
I like it. Look, there's only 6 years age difference. He's 28, she's 22. It's not basically 10 years, as Jeff and John Shipper said. It's only 6 years. And so I think that works. And I think it'd be really interesting. And the height difference makes for an interesting twosome. So I like what you're getting at, man. I like where we're going. But let's stay on the X-Men and let's ask this.
There's other stuff I have here.
Break it. Go ahead.
No, I just don't know if it's like legit,
You said there's rumors. These are, take it with a grain of salt, is what you said.
Yeah. I'll leave it there. I think that's
You're gonna leave it there? All right.
Enough Marvel rumor for one day.
All right. Now, what about this situation? Speaking of Marvel and speaking of the X-Men, earlier this week, Daniel Richtman was reporting that the Russos are apparently going to stick around past Avengers Secret Wars as more than just advisors, that they might be overseeing the X-Men. So, Jeff, does this make sense to you that it would be the Russos? Is this pass your smell test? Have you heard that this is going to happen? I mean, there's rumors that the X-Men might show up in Secret Wars as a way of launching that whole thing into the new phase. And if you're going to have the people who are shooting those films also carry over into the X-Men, that kind of makes sense to me.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think that this is true. No.
Okay. Wow.
I think that obviously, the Russos are maybe taking on a larger role over at Marvel.
Right. Overall, yes.
And may weigh in on, this TV show or, this or okay, I'll give you another Marvel rumor before I let everybody go.
Go ahead.
But to finish that thought,
I
don't think that they are going to be in charge of the X-Men or casting the X-Men.
Oh, okay.
Again, they may have input, but
right.
They're not going to direct that movie.
Okay. You don't think so?
Are you testing me right now?
I'm just asking.
I feel like you're trying to get me to say stuff that you thought that I thought I had agreed not to say, but I don't think it's possible for the Russos to direct X-Men because I think that X-Men will be in very close proximity to the Avengers movies.
Interesting. Okay.
Very close proximity.
Wow. It seems like I've heard that somewhere before.
So I haven't. Anyways, okay. The other Marvel casting rumor that is out there.
Mm-hmm. Let's hear it.
Is that and again, grain of salt.
Sure.
If I'll put it this way, guys, if these were actionable scoops, they'd be in the newsletter.
Okay, fair point.
Right? If these were actionable scoops, they'd be in the newsletter. But I think Brandon Sklenar.
Oh yeah, good actor.
Who has been booking jobs left and right.
Yes.
I think he is somebody to keep an eye on for the role of Richard Rider in the Nova series.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Okay, all right. I like that idea.
I mean, he has he just wrapped season 2 of 1923. He has the Paul Feig, Sydney Sweeney, Amanda Seyfried movie, The Housemaid.
Yeah.
That big package Lionsgate on an earthquake movie titled Aftershock, and he just signed on to do a Skydance movie.
Yeah.
So he's busy, and I think that Nova is trying to go in the fall.
Okay.
I also think Waller's trying to go in the fall.
No.
Over at DC.
Okay.
But keep an eye on him because I think that Marvel's high on him. I know that he's had at least a meeting over there. And obviously it's Marvel's job is to meet with all these hot young actors and see, would you be right for this? Would you be right for that?
Right.
I think he's probably on a short list for Richard Rider. Yeah.
I know Harloff has been pushing him for Bruce Wayne Batman. Do you think that's a possibility? Do you think he's playing both sides here to see where he's going to land? Or
I don't know what this mythical Batman thing is. I don't know what he's talking about. They already have a Batman. His name is Robert Pattinson. So if there's a Batman that is being cast in some project,
Brave and Bold.
I'm a casting guy. I haven't heard of this. Brave and Bold. What is that? Is that a movie that someone's planning to make soon? Because I haven't heard of that. I'm an industry reporter. I'm not aware of this.
All right, so I have 4 things to run by you, and tell me if they pass your smell test. Are you ready? I hear from my sources that the Fantastic Four release date may be pushed back, and that its trailer should release within the next month. And this is something I got about a week and a half ago. Does that sound right to you? Or do you think it's going to stay on a collision course with Superman?
First of all, bold fighting words. You have a movie that's supposed to open in July. There's no trailer yet. You have a tentpole called Captain America opening February 14th or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, February 14th.
Yeah, obviously there's going to be a Fantastic Four thing attached to Captain America, 100%.
Right. Fair point.
And that's why, I think Deadline said that Marvel's going to advertise 2 of its 3 movies during the Super Bowl.
Yes.
I assume one of them will be Captain America.
I think so.
You need that to work.
Right.
And then it was like Thunderbolts or Fantastic Four. I didn't want to say in the newsletter last night because honestly, I'm not sure, but how could it not be Fantastic?
Yeah, exactly.
You absolutely.
But do you think? What do you think about the release date? Do you think it'll be pushed back, or do you still sense it'll go when it's gone? When it said it's going to go?
I mean, I think it would and should be pushed back.
Okay.
But I haven't heard that that's the actual plan yet.
Okay.
Even pushing it into, there's just no fucking. You're telling me that PTA movie's going to stay there in August?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
There's just no fucking way.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't be surprised if it could move back maybe a couple weeks and then come out in August and really play till through the end of September because that's like a dead zone.
Right.
I think that the extra couple of weeks it would benefit from that so that it's not Jurassic, Superman, Fantastic. People may be pulled out by the end of the month. So it wouldn't shock me if it moved.
I think it's going to move.
But as far as the trailer coming soon, that seems inevitable.
Okay.
If it didn't, we would know something's up.
Right on. They're telling me that all the deals have now been signed for Sergeant Rock and the script has been greenlit and that casting should begin within the month. Does that sound? February being the month.
I buy it. I think that I'd heard that there may have been a holdup. That they were struggling to close the Sergeant Rock deals, but it's possible that they got over that hump and figured it out. I think that DC kind of needed to figure out what its next move was, especially because I think that Zaslav put his foot down with the Authority.
Oh, really? They said that's enough. Don't do this.
I think he was like, I'm not dropping $200 or $250 million on a fairly R-rated, unknown property. Yeah. I think he put the kibosh on it.
That'll be enough, boys. All right. I think I'll hit 2 things. I'll throw 2 things out to everybody from what my source is telling me. They're hearing that Thunderbolts is getting good reactions, especially for Florence Pugh. No surprise. She's amazing. And this is an odd one. They threw this out today. They sent it to me at around 3:00 today. They said, from what I'm hearing, Superman's budget was just under $200 million. Does that pass your smell test? Does that sound about right?
Superman, the James Gunn movie?
Yeah.
And David Gordon Sweat?
Was just under $200 million. Does that sound right to you?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
No, it doesn't at all.
That's why I like to bring this stuff up, because Jeff will correct it. Jeff will give me his 2 cents on it, which I appreciate. All right, Jeff, now that we've had our fun, let's dive into this really grueling story that is connected, of course, to the Oscars today with Karla, Sofia Gascon. This blew up just an hour or 2 ago on Variety, a number of other websites here. A number of her tweets from the past in the 2020 and 2021 area were surfaced by journalist Sarah Haji, who I hope I'm saying that right, Sarah, if you're watching, or Haji. And some of these tweets are Islamaphobic, racist, critical of the Oscars. She talks about, I am so sick of so much of this shit, of Islam, of Christianity, of Catholicism, of all the fucking beliefs of morons that violate human rights. When talking about the Nomadland winning Best Picture and having Daniel Kaluuya win Best Actor, she wrote, more and more the Oscars are looking like a ceremony for independent and protest films. I don't know if I was watching an Afro-Korean festival, a Black Lives demonstration, or the 8M. Apart from that, an ugly, ugly gala. But the one she's getting the most crap about, I think, and deservedly so, was her COVID-19 tweet. She said the Chinese vaccine, apart from the mandatory chip, comes with 2 spring rolls, a cat that moves its hand, 2 plastic flowers, a pop-up lantern, 3 telephone lines, and €1 for your first controlled purchase. And went on to say other things that have surfaced as well, like 2 Chinese people eating shit is why we got the vaccine, or why we got COVID. These are horrible fucking tweets, man. So the Oscars, and this comes on the heels of her accusing Fernanda Torres' social media team of coming after her, and Fernanda saying, I don't even have a social media team. What the fuck are you talking about? And the Oscars cleared Karla yesterday of not violating any rules in the campaign by saying this. Now all this stuff comes out today, and it's a massive explosion. So, Jeff, your thoughts on all this, not only as a co-host of the Hot Mic, but co-host of FYC.
What are you asking me specifically?
Is this it? Like, this is done, right? Like, does this kill her chances of winning the Oscar? Does she even show up at the ceremony after these tweets have been dropped? What are your thoughts on this, man? And is this dirty pool? Is this because this is an independent journalist. She says she has no connections to any of the, well, I'm intimating that she doesn't have any connections to any of the movies, or any of the studios. So what's your reaction to all of this stuff?
Will it kill her chances? Most likely.
Yeah.
Should it kill her chances is the bigger and better question.
Fair point. Go ahead.
Are we giving Oscars out for being good people?
I think it's part of it.
It is.
It is.
That's a shame.
It's always been.
That's a shame.
What do you mean it's always been?
I mean, I don't think you should have to be a good person to win an Oscar.
Okay.
I think if you give the best performance of the year, I don't really care what your tweets say. You deserve to win the award for best performer of the year. You could also win the award for the worst tweets of the year.
Wait, so you're saying to me, as a Jewish person on the other side of this microphone, someone came out with very pro-Hitler, pro-Holocaust, pro-anti-Semitic tweets, or anti-Semitic tweets rather, that you'd be like, you know what? I don't care. They should win best actor or best actress.
That is correct.
Wow.
That's why I get the tweets that I do accusing me of defending Nazis and all that. No. I don't defend Nazi ideology.
Right.
I defend the Nazis' right to have that ideology.
Right.
That's America. So, no, if the things that she had said were all anti-Semitic, okay, I don't want to see another movie with her or whatever. But if I already thought, right, if I had already done my little, if I had a ballot and I'd said, hey, I think that she deserves to win the Oscar, her tweets wouldn't change my mind. No, I can easily separate the art from the artist.
Okay.
So I don't care. This is a non-story to me, other than it's probably going to have a larger impact on all of Emilia Perez, even though, again, it shouldn't. It doesn't change the movie that we saw. It doesn't change anyone else's performances or contributions to the movie, but you're right. Probably will have some effect.
Well, I mean, and the thing is, I bring this up because she's the first trans actress to be nominated for Best Actress Oscar. And the film is about supposedly expanding people's minds in a place to accept people for their decisions and who they want to be and their identities that they want to assume. When you have someone who is out here saying such racist, horrific, vile, disgusting tweets, she called George Floyd, what did she call? I really think the very few people ever cared about George Floyd, a drug addict swindler. But his death has served to once again demonstrate that there are people who still consider black people to be monkeys without rights and consider policemen to be assassins. They're all wrong. So
yeah, can't say that word.
That's what I'm saying. These are horrific tweets.
Again, ugly, horrific speech.
Yeah.
And if we're giving out the awards for good people, she doesn't deserve to win one.
Yeah.
But if we're still giving out awards for acting, I don't care if the message of the movie doesn't align with her personal opinions or whatever. It's a twisted irony for me, but it doesn't disqualify her.
I have to say, I don't agree with you. I do think it's part of it, just like I do think that's.
I agree with you. No. That
I know.
It does matter. It will play a part. It's going to be tough for a lot of voters to ignore. I'm just saying that I'm someone who can make that distinction.
I know you are, and I respect that. And again, I'm not going to try to get you to change your opinion because that's who you are as a person, and I respect that. I just mean, like, I think that's always been the case, even in sports leagues. Jeff, we know this. If you're in the Hall of Fame and you bet on baseball, you don't get to get in. If you took steroids, you don't get to get in. If you're doing these nefarious stuff, you don't always get to get in. Now, they find out sometimes afterwards, and it's really hard to remove that honor. But certainly it's something that people look at. Character absolutely
can't stand like the idea that this is investigative journalism these days, going back through people's tweets and taking the screenshots. You know, obviously that shit drives me insane.
I know. You've told me that, yes.
I mean, it's like she's a different person, right? So she's not going to that microphone and that platform as the star of Amelia Perez, however long ago she made those tweets.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even know when they were made or
2020 and 2021.
When I don't even know when she transitioned.
I don't know when she transitioned either.
I think the point is like she's trans, not a saint. Trans people are just like us.
I know, which is why when I tweeted it out, I said
when they had bad attempts at humor, that they crossed the line in talking about certain things. And she is Latino, and I feel like there is a certain, you know, it's a very Catholic upbringing. You look at things a different way, maybe sometimes. No.
Just to clarify, she's Spanish. So right, that's from the colonizer side of things, and quite a few people have had to school me on that over the years, and I thank those people for school because I didn't always see it that way. But I've been very made clear about that. But yes, so it's a different situation.
It's a sort of different way of looking at things and sexuality and
race.
Right. I mean, come on, you know.
She transitioned in 2018, so this was after she transitioned.
Okay.
But the other side of this too is
a little more empathetic by then. You mean?
Yeah, and you would hope, right? And so but these are such raging tweets about Islamophobia. I mean, about that radiate Islamophobia and racism and what have you. It's just like I don't understand what would possess you to tweet things like this. But you might argue that, look, everybody was nuts during COVID. Like there was a lot of anger in the world. There was a lot of frustration. People said a lot of dumb shit. But this should be a lesson for everybody. It literally costs you $100 to get into a service and delete all your tweets. James Gunn has a thing where he deletes his tweets every 6 months. You could have a service that deletes your tweet every 6 months. I think anybody in the public eye should be investing in these programs because this comes up so often for people who are celebrities and people who become more famous like overnight. You should absolutely be preparing for this kind of stuff. You know?
That's what I hate about it is like it only happens when people are like on the verge of doing something great. You have to wait for them to actually do something good with their lives and succeed. And then everybody wants to take them down, which is horrible. Yeah. But no, this isn't for me about her. This is about Netflix's awards team. This is their failure. I mean, this is totally on them to have
because they didn't investigate it, or because they didn't push back on it. What do you?
The second that Netflix bought the fucking movie, knew that they were going to mount a campaign. The Netflix's awards team should have had somebody combing through those tweets and deleting that shit. The fact that they were just deleted today means that Netflix's awards team was asleep at the wheel. Yep. And again, you're paying these people through the fucking nose. Like, it's crazy to me that not only have they not won the big one. I mean, they haven't really had the goods, but like even when they have the goods, now they fumble it because of really a fuck up, and it's not her fuck up.
Well, the tweets are a fuck up, but you're saying she didn't delete. She should have deleted them.
Yeah, there was nothing wrong with them. That's why she tweeted them in the first place. That's how she thinks.
Probably.
I'm not gonna sit there thinking, "Oh, did I tweet something 5 years ago wrong?" No, that's why would you?
I'm constantly worried about that.
I'm not. I don't give a fuck at this point.
I know.
All the screenshots. I don't care. I'm not going to have a boss again where it matters.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to read all the tweets, so just let it be. You guys can do your research and look online. Variety has them linked. They're pretty brutal and they're pretty rough to read, and it's very elitist and condescending and really shitty. And so, to me, in the end, it's like, wow, you're out here trying to promote.
John, you know that like people who have been oppressed, right? I feel like they're also looking for people to look down upon, right? No one wants to feel like they're at the bottom, right? So everyone's trying to look down on somebody, some race of people, some gender, whatever it is. I feel like that's just kind of a symptom of that.
Yeah, but let's move it past what we just talked about. I mean, how do you feel about this Oscar season, Jeff? It feels like
it's getting ugly. It's wide open.
Everybody is tainted. It feels the Brutalist now with the AI stuff and the Fernanda Torres with the blackface. And so it feels like everybody is in the firing line.
This is all bullshit. This is all extraneous media bullshit. The only thing that matters, John, is how you felt in that fucking seat in that dark fucking room for those 2 to 3.5 fucking hours.
I guess. Maybe 4 with the Brutalist.
That's the only thing that matters.
I guess, brother. I guess, but
the only thing that should matter.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, that's fair. Should is a different thing, right? Exactly.
So yeah, it is a particularly ugly season because it's wide open and everyone's just flinging mud. I don't, but to me, nothing's tainted.
Okay.
If the AI stood out while I was watching The Brutalist,
right,
that'd be one thing.
Right.
Or Amelia Perez, or if her fucking tweets were coming up on the screen during Amelia Perez, but it's so crazy, man, and I'm so sad the way the fucking media takes the bait because no one has independent thought anymore.
I think Wicked is over here going like, they might be lined up here. I saw Clayton Davis tweet that A Complete Unknown might be the poll runner now for Best Picture. Oh my God.
Everyone would love to believe this. It's like, what Academy is going from Everything Everywhere All at Once to the fucking staid Bob Dylan movie? Like, that is such a boomer pick that the Academy might have chosen like 15 years ago. No, well, not happening.
I think it's The Brutalist. I don't think it's going to be anything else.
A couple of other things, but it's not going to be A Complete Unknown.
Yeah, that's fair. Is there anything? Oh, we got to talk about this, Jeff, before we get into these questions. I know we're already an hour and 10 minutes into the show. Talk to me about the Michael Jackson biopic, Jeff. You wrote about this in the article. You said, if I can quote you correctly, it's a bit of a dumpster fire right now. I read that the whole third act had to be reshot or rewritten because they overlooked some agreement with one of the kids who had settled, who had accused Michael Jackson. His family had accused Michael Jackson of the sexual harassment or assault. And now it seems like they're gonna push back the release. What's going on with this? I mean, they thought this film was gonna make $3 billion. So now what?
I mean, it could make $1 billion, which is like, why they want to handle this all so carefully. But yes, I've heard it was a total shit show behind the scenes, like pretty much top to bottom. Other than the fact that this kid Jafar is like apparently the real deal and kills it. Yeah, I mean, obviously Jackson's estate was going to be difficult to deal with.
Sure,
have a ton of control. And Graham King has to appease them because he needs this music more than anything.
Yeah, that's true.
He can make the whole fucking movie with AI actors and AI everything. As long as Michael Jackson's music is in it, no one's going to give a shit.
Right.
So he needs family. And yeah, it sounded like, Fuqua. Dude, I like Fuqua.
I do too.
I don't know what you want me to say about this guy. He's not cut out for it. He can't do it. Okay? Fast and Furious, all I heard was just goes back to his trailer and throws his hands up.
Wow.
Because he can't deal with the egos. He can't deal with Dwayne and the fighting and all that shit.
And Vin? Yeah.
And Vin, of course. So he just got like walked all over on that movie, which is why I told you he was not coming back.
Yeah.
That fucking Mark Wahlberg movie that he did, the expensive one, that was atrocious.
The Terminal List? No, that was, which one was that one? Infinite. Oof. Yeah.
That was atrocious. He's not a big budget filmmaker.
Yeah. And
I literally heard on this one, threw up his hands. Just, wow. I'm out. Just, I'm going back to the van. Wow. Fucking Jackson, Lionsgate, Graham King, you guys all fucking handle it. Hands up. Do it.
Yeah. And
that's the kind of guy he is, which is fine. And if you're making a mid-budget movie, that's one thing. But yeah, $100 million tentpole. I don't think I would ever hire Fuqua to do one again.
How can you keep working in this business if you do that? It's mind blowing to me.
Directed the movie from a van, and that is the craziest thing is that was not denied.
Wow. I mean, it really, he hasn't. To me, in my opinion, he hasn't done okay, how about this? He's done one good movie since.
Oh shit! Am I confusing Fuqua and F. Gary Gray? Fuck.
F. Gary Gray might be different. Yeah, you might be.
Fuck, you're right.
Oh, no.
I'm confusing Fuqua with F. Gary Gray on the Fast and Furious stuff.
Oh, okay.
I heard the same stuff with Fuqua on it was on the Wahlberg movie, but on he did another big budget one, didn't he?
Oh, well, listen, The Equalizer, Southpaw, Magnificent Seven, Equalizer 2, Infinite, The Guilty, Emancipation, and The Equalizer 3. Those are the things he's done since 2015.
Forgive me for confusing him with F. Gary Gray on the Fast and Furious thing, but again, I've heard Fuqua just can't handle it.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see what happens. I think I loved Emancipation, but I felt like the last 10 years of his movies have been a bit uneven. Haven't quite gotten there, including that Magnificent Seven remake, which I thought was terrible.
What am I thinking of, though? I could have sworn did he start directing something, or did he take over for someone halfway?
I don't know.
Yeah, I've forgotten so much fucking movie news.
Could be an Emancipation, do you think, or no?
I thought that he had come in to replace somebody halfway, or had to be replaced halfway, but never mind. Maybe I'm wrong.
All right. With F. Gary Gray, it's been Lift, Pepsi, The Cell, Men in Black International. Maybe that was the one. And he did do Fate of the Furious in 2017, then Straight Outta Compton before that. So maybe, I don't know.
Again,
okay.
Some people are kind of out to do these $100 million tentpoles where you have to compromise, and some people are just better working, in a mid-budget setting where they can have more control. And I think that's more of Antoine's thing.
Smaller film. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. We'd be remiss not to hit these two horror things. Your thoughts on Scott Foley joining Screen 7, but bigger, Matthew Lillard coming back to Screen 7. What are your thoughts?
I haven't even had time to read these stories. So they're saying.
So Matthew Lillard is coming back for Screen 7. He played, of course, Stu in the first film, but he's coming back for Screen 7. How is that possible? Does Stu have a twin? We don't know. We will see. But then Scott Foley is also coming back coming to screen. Yeah, coming back as Screen.
Rose McGowan back. I mean, is Henry Winkler back? What the fuck I don't know what's going on. I don't know the direction that they're taking this. So it's weird to me, though. It's a head scratcher. I don't want Scott Foley back. I don't want Stu back, unless these are just flashbacks.
Maybe. Yeah, because Foley was in Scream 3 as Sidney's half brother. He played Roman Bridger, the only solo Ghostface killer. So, spoiler alert. But yeah, that's the situation there. But yeah, it seems like everyone's being brought back as a kind of legacy thing, and maybe they are gonna do flashbacks or dream sequences or something. But is any of this stuff exciting you at all as a Scream fan at all, or no?
Again, I'm glad that Kevin is back and that Neve Campbell's back.
Okay.
I liked the Isabel May casting as the daughter, and I liked who's the other girl who joined?
Oh, sorry, I don't have it in front of me.
But yeah, I have not liked any of these movies so far. Right, the two new ones. It's
McKenna Grace. McKenna Grace is the other one. Isabel May.
She's a great young actress.
Yeah, I like McKenna as well. Okay.
I watched another Spyglass movie this week.
Oh.
Didn't really do it for me. So
okay. All right.
I just don't think they know what a good script looks like. And the fact that Kevin didn't write this one makes me a little nervous. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it.
What about Zack Cregger now officially doing Resident Evil? Is this the franchise leveling up, brother? I mean, no offense to Paul W.S. Anderson and Jovovich, but man, Cregger, this is going next level, I believe. What do you think?
Yeah, no, this has been a bigger franchise than I would have thought for Sony. And I'm surprised that the rights are available. I mean, I guess they're owned by Constantine or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there, because I thought I could have sworn this was at Sony. And I don't know if Sony's one of the other two studios that just weren't mentioned in the piece, that maybe they're like the backstop, hey, we can't compete with Warner Brothers or Netflix on a pricing point. Yeah. But if they, if you can't get a deal with them, we will make it for this much. Yeah, I definitely think it's the franchise leveling up, though.
Oh yeah, I think so too. I'll be looking forward to seeing what he does with it for sure.
It's a good IP, and yeah, it makes sense for him, I think, as the next stepping stone, getting a big budget and that kind of thing.
Okay. One more thing is just broke on Variety. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have just told a federal judge today that they will seek to dismiss Justin Baldoni's defamation lawsuit on Monday, that both sides are due in court on Monday. So, Jeff, fuck, man, this is a story that doesn't die. This is the story that doesn't die. In no way is a judge going to be like, oh, yeah, you got all this evidence. Let's dismiss your lawsuit. No fucking way that's happening.
Dude, I don't know what's going on. This whole thing it's a charade, and it's sad.
I agree. One line reaction to these things. Magazine Dream trailer came out.
Wait, I wasn't done with Lively.
You weren't? Oh, let's go into it. I mean, we're at an hour and 20.
The big piece this week was the column about Lively.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Your PGA piece. Go ahead, my man.
I mean, that's what producers are upset about. It's like, if you look through Baldoni's complaint,
yes,
it's like pages 87 to 91. It's all about that PGA mark and how Blake basically forced her way into a producing credit, and then once she got the credit, insisted on the PGA mark.
Yeah.
And it's like, I understand that she definitely maybe did things to earn a producing credit, but to earn the PGA mark seems like a bridge too far. And the producers that I spoke to are super upset about it because it does seem like she extorted them. And just like, listen, I'm not going to promote this movie, and I'm not going to sign off on the marketing materials in a timely manner.
Yeah.
I don't get the PGA mark, which again, she didn't deserve. Baldoni's the one who did all the work.
100%.
You know, but he gave it up to appease his star, and she still fucked him like this. So this is sort of, to me, the two of them get what they deserve.
The more
they got a lie in it.
The more this keeps going, I mean, I can't. The more terrible she looks. You had one of these chef influencers who was an extra for 6 seasons on Gossip Girl come out and call her out for the horrible way she treated extras for 6 seasons on that show and how terrible she was to people on that show. The Ryan Reynolds stuff is starting to pop up now. You know that now they're going after Ryan and they're bringing up old interviews and old back and forths with him. Somebody unearthed the clip with Alanis Morissette talking about how Ryan fucked her over on the Howard Stern interview back in like 2018 or 2020. So, I mean, they're going to try to dismiss this thing. And unless they've paid off the judge, I can't imagine that it's going to happen. Because, I mean, Justin has a very good standing here and a damn good lawyer. And this is only going to hurt them more and more as they keep going with this nonsense. And what you wrote, and people should definitely subscribe to the Insnider.com. Go and subscribe there. What you wrote in the PGA piece was illuminating for me as someone who is not on the ins and outs of the producer side of things. It's as you said, it's extortion and it's ego. And it's, once again, this is her trying to push her weight around that's unearned so she can get what she wants. It's a privileged, pampered princess who tries to shove people around to get what she wants because she can't fucking earn it and she doesn't deserve it. And it's frustrating to see as more and more of this stuff comes out, how terrible she looks. And look, that 6-minute voicemail is kind of creepy from Baldoni. He was trying to appease her using all the buzzwords. But in the end, when you're dealing with someone like her, I bet you're going to have to like constantly find new tactics to make her okay or happy or finish the film. That's your job as a director. So it's just tough on all sides, man.
Again, just can't believe it got this far.
Yeah. All right. One line, Magazine Dreams trailer. Thoughts?
Good trailer.
Yeah.
I mean, good movie. Not a great movie, but
okay.
A good movie and a truly amazing performance.
Bro, that trailer, regardless of all the stuff he did, I was like, as an actor looking at that, I'm like, I have to see this movie.
Oh, but so you can separate the art from the artist there?
I can't.
That's the thing. This guy fucking broke a woman's finger, right?
Yes.
These aren't tweets that hurt somebody's feelings on the other side of the screen. He abused a woman. Can't wait to see his fucking movie.
No, but I'm saying he went through the process, okay? He went to court. He went to trial. So he went through the process. And so at least he went through the process.
Karla, we will forgive you if you go through the process.
Go through the process, Karla. One line response to the new Sinners trailer, brother. What did you think of this?
I still feel really bad about mixing up Antoine Fuqua and F. Gary Gray.
It happens, bro. We talk about stuff all the time.
I know. I was just, anyways.
No, everyone knows you're not a racist, Jeff. So
it's not about that. I should have known that it was like. I've heard it about Fuqua before, but you're right. It wasn't on that movie.
You're getting older, man. It happens.
Sinners trailer. Not a great trailer.
What? You didn't like it? Oh,
I'm nervous.
I loved it. Tell me why you didn't like it.
I'm nervous about this movie, John. I'm not. It's not just that I'm hearing mixed things. there's something missing.
Okay.
I don't know, twins and like giving away the turn at the end of the trailer that one of the twins is gonna succumb felt like a desperation play to me.
Not just that one, but the other twist with the other actor in the film as well that they gave away.
I feel like they're giving it away because they're getting a little desperate.
Do you think that they don't think it's a good
movie?
movie?
I think that the date switch was not the best move either. that they ended up favoring almost Mickey 17. And I don't know if that's because it has it's Batman and maybe they have bigger plans to work with Bong or whatever. I mean, maybe it's that they don't own the copyright on Sinners.
Yeah.
They let Coogler keep it. I don't know what it is, but I'm just getting nervous.
I liked the trailer. I did a reaction to it. It's on the channel. I really liked the 3 minutes we got, the supernatural element, the vampire element, the kind of biblical element with that tower of fire in the middle of the water. And like I said, this is a supernatural film with vampires in it. It's not a vampire film. So that to me makes me think there's much more going on here. The allusion to Robert Johnson and the Crossroads, selling your soul to the devil to play blues. Like how much of that is involved?
A lot of elements here is what you're saying.
There's a lot of
elements. Tough to sell.
Do they come together? And that's the question. Yeah, it's true.
Let me ask you an uncomfortable question.
Okay. Oh, shit.
Is the average white guy going to see this movie?
I don't know. It's a good question. But
is this movie going to be too black for them?
I don't know. People like Michael B. Like Michael B. crosses over. Ryan Coogler crosses over. So, look, a lot of white people went to see Black Panther. So, and Black Panther 2. So, I think Ryan has kind of, he has cachet in the white community, I believe. And so, I think if the reviews are strong, people will go see this. Look, white people went to see Mississippi Burning, Jeff. White people went to see, they go see films where sometimes white people are the bad guys. So, I think they will. It just, especially because it's a supernatural film. So you can like remove yourself, even though he is totally commenting on growing up black in the South during that time, which he said is connected to his family. So, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we are going to see.
All right. Yeah, look, my white stepson dresses like Black Panther. There you go, Jeff.
It's just like, again, it just kind of looked like the piano lesson with a vampire in the trailer.
Wow. All right. Is there anything more that I've got? Oh,
I did love the guy who was like, coming into my Twitter, I don't know if it went a little viral, but talking about the sinners and everything. And he like didn't even think like Coogler had made a good movie.
What?
Oh. I think it was Rob Motto, right? Who's like one of these Twitter people gaining steam. And I'm like, let me just shut you down right here. Like, if you don't think Ryan Coogler has made a good movie, you don't even deserve to be following my tweets. Goodbye.
That's a fair point. That's a ridiculous statement to make, for God's sake. All right. I think that's all the stories, unless you want to talk about the Tarantino story, or shall we get into the questions? Anything you want to say on this, or shall we get into the questions?
I mean, what's this? He thinks movies died in 2019.
Yeah, Grandpa Simpson.
Maybe right about. And he's going to do a stage show.
Yeah. And he says he doesn't want to do his final movie now till his kid is a little more grown up to appreciate his work.
His son is 6. His son's turning 5, by the way. So it's like, I gotta wait till he's of the right age. You mean next year?
We'll show him Reservoir Dogs at 6.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. Let's move on. I just think he's off base. I think I appreciate Grandpa Simpson trying to tell us about the movies, but I think he's off base because 2019 is not 2025. Studios have to make money. So you have these short theatrical windows because studios know people aren't coming to the theaters anymore. And not keeping the movie in the theater for 6 months is not going to make people go.
Because the studios train them not to come to the theaters anymore. Because the studios, put these movies out now 6 weeks later, or in some cases 3 weeks later. If they didn't do that, would people, it's cause and effect.
I think COVID changed everything, and we're never going back. People got used to watching. Yeah.
And it's fine to put it on COVID, but then Quentin's still not wrong that 2019 is the last year of movies because, like you said,
how movies used to be.
Changed everything.
Yeah. But it's just like the NFL, right? Every few years, there's new rules. And then you go, well, the same old records still count, even though it's a 17-game season. It's like, well, how does a 13-game season record mean the same as a 17-game season record? That's not fair. And the same thing with movies. Like, yeah, theatrical windows used to be way longer. And then they were shorter when Tarantino became a filmmaker. And now they've gotten shorter. That's the game. So movies used to be in the theater for a year, brother, before they ever got close to coming out on VHS.
Crazy, I think Titanic in the movie theater for like 9 or 10 months.
That's what I'm saying. Things changed. I've lived through it all, for God's sake. All right, let's move on to some questions, Jeff. Let's get it because I've got to wrap this up soon. I know you're getting tired. James D. Michelle says, I honestly don't see a problem with the Superman spot. It's 2 seconds of a scene that may appear in the film. There's still 6 months of post-production and marketing left to fix any issues. Force Tate. I agree. What a nonsense controversy this barrel roll was. What do you think, Jeff?
I mean, obviously, and we did already talk about it, but it's like, remember a couple of weeks ago when I was saying that there were some VFX issues with Superman and everybody called me crazy?
Right.
And all of a sudden some footage comes out and people are like, this looks really weird. How fucking wild. Jeff Sneider just does it for the clicks.
Even though James Gunn claims it's not CGI.
Eventually you guys will fucking learn.
Ewok says, any validity to the Jack Champion of Cyclops news? I think we have to say no after your news there.
I mean, he could be in the mix as well. No question. It's all about, again, budget. We've talked, and it wasn't just for Fantastic Four that Marvel's trying to keep the budget down. I'm sure they're trying to keep the budget down for everything. And I don't know if now being cast as John Lennon ups Harris Dickinson's fee. Yeah. So, but X-Men, it seems like the kind of property that they will invest in and splurge a little on talent. So but I have no idea.
I agree. Louis Carizales says, what are your thoughts on the Magazine Dreams trailer? It looks like a powerful performance of Jonathan Majors. I think we covered it, but is there anything more you want to add, Jeff?
No. Do you think he could get an awards nomination, or you think no chance for this?
I think there still needs to be a little bit more time, but I think what the film will do is speed up that time. And I think people will be like, this is too talented of a guy. And look, it's terrible what he did, but that was a relationship between those two people and they solved it. They handled it. He went through the court process. So it's about opening the door again. So
terrible what he did to that poor woman.
Of course.
Not as bad as sending a tweet that a bunch of people see.
I'm not saying she shouldn't work.
I'm fucking busting your balls.
Karen von der Maiden says, prayers for the DC crash victims. RIP. I agree.
Oh my God.
I had a tough time watching the footage this morning in the press conference, which was borderline the most offensive thing I've seen in a while.
I texted all my friends in DC, and then I saw the plane was coming in from Kansas, and I was like, oh, I don't think I know anybody who ever went to Kansas, but all right.
But that's where I grew up.
Of course.
26 years I spent in DC. That area, Fort Belvoir, I used to go down to Fort Belvoir all the time. That helicopter, I think we came out of Fort Belvoir. So Reagan National, I've flown into Reagan National many, many times. So my heart broke.
An entirely preventable tragedy.
Exactly. And 60 people needlessly died. And some well-known figure skaters, apparently, which Nancy Kerrigan was on talking about in tears. John Lee says, Den of Thieves 3. I hope they make many more. Yeah, Jeff, do you think they'll make a third one? Den of Thieves?
Yes.
Okay.
Den of Thieves.
Please,
I need the den. I need the Ian den to be a 3.
Shouldn't be Den of Thieves versus Bad Boys. Let me see that movie. I want to see that movie.
Bad Boys trying to take down the Den of Thieves.
That's okay. Yes.
Lionsgate and Sony split the rights.
Come on. John Ashford says, evening outlaw, Mr. Sneider. John, have you seen that Escape from New York deleted scene yet? No, I haven't. Also, has there ever been a deleted scene you've seen that would have helped a movie?
Yes.
Which one?
I maintain that the greatest deleted scene in the history of cinema is that of Miss Ashley Judd in Natural Born Killers.
Oh, interesting. Okay. NBK.
She gets stabbed on the witness stand, and I think that scene would have been awesome in the movie.
I just saw some deleted scenes the other day I'd never seen, and I would have liked to add them to the movie. I can't remember what they are though, but yeah, I think a couple of the Coppola ones, especially with the two women in the helicopter in Apocalypse Now, I thought those were good scenes to add. The French plantation, no, but just about everything else he added, I liked. Lemmy Ward says, "Hi boys, interesting question for you. If a James Dean biopic was to be made, who would you choose to play him?" Oh, wow. Bobby Austin, I imagine, right, Jeff?
Yes.
That's the choice. Franco did a nice job with the TNT movie years ago, but Austin, I think, would be the choice. Samo says, "What happens to y'all? What happened to y'all's top 10 best film of 2024?" Jeff has it up on his newsletter, right?
I don't think we made a video, is what he's getting
Oh.
at. I did post a top 10.
Maybe we'll explore that as a special show. Maybe.
Yes.
Michael says, "Love the article on Leguizamo. I feel the same about him. Underrated and hasn't gotten his due. Hopefully the Nolan movie role isn't small." Jeff and John, what's your favorite Leguizamo role?
Ooh.
Damn, favorite? Shit.
I want to answer this right. Okay, wait, let's come back to that.
Okay, all right.
We're going to come back to that.
It's probably Benny Blanco, but we'll see. Miguel Zion says, "Do you all guys have any updates on DC's The Authority? Is Drew Goddard creatively involved in DCU? Rocha has mentioned that Matthew Vaughn directs." No, I don't recall that I mentioned that.
Again, I don't think it happens.
There you go.
I think The Authority is kaput. Okay. Wait, I've got it. So this is tough. Leguizamo.
I know, it's tough. He's in a lot of shit too.
I think it's probably Moulin Rouge. But he's really great in Summer of Sam, the Spike Lee movie.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's really underrated in that.
Him and Esposito are fucking great in that movie. I always wish Jennifer would have gotten bigger, man. I like her as an actress.
He's actually low-key fucking great in Romeo and Juliet.
Yes, he is.
He's really good as Tibbles.
Him and Dash Mihawk. "Do you bite your thumb at me, sir? I bite my thumb, not at you, sir." Oh, yeah, absolutely. For me, it's going to be Benny. I love him in Carlito's Way. And how many people can go toe-to-toe with Pacino and occasionally get the best of Pacino?
Have you seen his the miniseries, The Kill Point?
No. What is that?
It's like a Dog Day Afternoon type of like miniseries. It was him and Donnie Wahlberg.
What?
It's like about veterans who rob a bank. And it's really good. I have the DVDs if you ever want to borrow them, but it may be streaming somewhere. Track it down.
All right. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Frank Grillo is in it and Michael Kenneth Williams. Damn.
It's a really good cast. Like it was one of these before limited series were cool.
Nice. Oh, my brother Ryan Sands is in that shit. Respect. All right. Michael says, "Bring the Marvel scoops." Well, we just did.
I did. I gave you Dickinson and Sklenar as front runners for those two roles. So
not a lot there.
Again, just as guys who I know Marvel likes.
Yeah. Cowboys Fan 92 says, "Hi, John. Hope you're good. I recently finally watched Anora, and wow, that was a crazy watch. Hard one, but I now see why people are talking about it so much." Yeah, I like Anora a lot. Jeff?
Number 2 movie of the year. I mean, I think it's really good. I don't think it's great. I don't think it deserves to win Best Picture, but I think it's very good.
I mean, I know Zoe Kravitz is already Catwoman, but if you were looking for a new Catwoman, Mikey Madison would fit the role to a T.
She's going to start getting stuff. I bet that Sydney doesn't get.
Ooh.
That's stuff Sydney passes on, maybe.
Have you seen the new When Harry Met Sally ad for Hellman's Mayonnaise?
Yes.
The Lady Outlaw. I showed to her.
Should I say yes?
I showed it to the Lady Outlaw in bed, and she looks at me and she goes, "Who's that young girl at the end who said the line?" And I was like, "Oh, honey, Sydney, sweetie."
Funny.
But she did not remember her from Handmaid's Tale, which is where she had seen her. So it's funny.
I see people in the chat says being like I was dismissive of the people who died in DC. Listen,
what?
It's great that they were. It's not great. It's terrible. They were Boston athletes aboard. It doesn't make me like care more or less. It was terrible. Obviously, everyone who passed.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that I called friends in DC.
Right.
And then when I saw later that the flight was from Kansas, which I didn't know initially, it was like, okay, I'm pretty sure no one was visiting Kansas.
Yeah. Please, people. Jeff's got a heart, for God's sake.
You should see the things that we see in the chat. I've been accused of being right wing.
Yes.
I went to NYU and I'm from Massachusetts. It's wild. What was the other crazy thing I saw? I mean, you guys are nuts. Go on.
It's a good chat though. Miguel Zion says Jeff said last week that horror scripts are what sells these days. Are there types of horror that also sell? Can I get some from advice from both of y'all when polishing a screenplay? How to attract / hook readers? Thanks. That's more Jeff's question.
I've definitely thought about offering some sort of screenplay service, since that is what I went to school for. But I would say Fusion is the name of the game.
Ooh.
Look at Hard Eyes this weekend. That's a horror comedy, right? It takes the rom-com and the horror.
Yeah.
What the fuck else are we talking about that's just about to come out? Companion.
Oh, Companion
is like a sci-fi horror. So I feel like having that other genre or being able to like kind of straddle genres and appeal to maybe not just the Terrifier 3 like hardcore horror crowd, but like some other fan base, that kind of thing, that I think is the way to go.
Fair point. 34 Virgo, no different than Antonio Brown should be in the Hall of Fame. Hell no. He's a nutball. JMH 66611 says Matthew Lillard back for Scream 7 per deadline. What is this movie? I think we touched on it, right? Yeah.
I don't know. I'm very and just like the way that like they announced him coming back to with the Instagram post that like then the trades got to go after. Like
it's weird.
Like he writes down, my mom and dad are going to be so mad at me. Like, what is the point of that?
I don't disagree. Robert Giaquinta says the new Scream should be like New Nightmare and take place at a Comic-Con and there's a killer on the loose and you can easily bring back the OG cast. Yeah. That's
a clever way into it, Robert.
Yeah.
If you have Matt Lillard at a con signing autographs as Matt Lillard.
All right. Gemella Jokes says, hey, fellas, do you ever do live on TikTok? I figured I'd ask while the app is still around. LOL. I know I should do that more. I should go live more often on TikTok. But Jeff, do you do stuff do you go live on TikTok?
No, I don't even know what that means.
You would just set the phone and then hit live and you just go live.
Yeah, I don't really mess with TikTok too much. I kind of get in, get out. I've never looked at replies or anything on it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Chris Cabrera says, love the show, guys. One has to go. Oh, okay, here we go. One has to go. Seth Rogen, Adam Sandler, Jim Carrey, or Will Ferrell, and all of their filmography. Which one would you remove?
One has to go.
Ooh.
This is the easiest thing I've ever heard of.
Really? Who would you get rid of? Huh?
Will Ferrell.
What? You get rid of Elf?
Yeah.
You
real quickly without a second thought.
You get rid of Wedding Crashers? Because it has to be all his filmography, everything he's been in. So Talladega Nights is gone. Anchorman is gone. Blades of Glory is gone.
Yes. I don't have any regrets.
I can't go with you on that, I don't think.
Who goes for you? It has to be Seth, right? You can't tell me that you would get rid of Adam or Jim.
No, you're right. It's probably Seth Rogen. Even though I would, The Night Before is one of my favorite Christmas movies now. I'd hate to lose that. Superbad is so fucking good.
There's a lot of good shit with Rogen.
Yeah, shit.
The answer is Will Ferrell, but we can play this game all day.
I think it's between the two, Seth or Will Ferrell. Faccia Bruta says, honestly, what's the best movie and performance of 2024? For $2, Faccia?
Adrian Brody, The Brutalist. That's it.
That's the answer. I agree with that. That's the
Unless
answer.
you want to do Sebastian Stan, The Apprentice. That's the only other acceptable answer.
Yeah. Especially when Adrian goes to South America. Hello. Mumra, Pierce Brosnan for Ocean's 4 as a villain or ally. Ooh, Pierce Brosnan's a villain in Ocean's 14.
Has he been rumored?
That could be fun. What do you think of that?
I would like that a lot. I think that would be cool. Especially
if he grows the beard. I love Pierce with the beard. Like a real nice coiffed rich man's beard. Ooh, that could be fun.
He's another one of these guys like Brad Pitt who you don't think of him as like a really good actor because he's so good looking.
Yeah.
Think of him as like he's usually cast as like eye candy, but when he does get the chance to be good, he takes it and runs with it.
Yeah. Like I didn't think The Sun was that great of a series, but him in it, he was fucking excellent. Jamela jokes. Damn. Okay, Jeff, disregard my random sliding into your TikTok DMs then. It's Twitter that you use. I was thinking TikTok. Sorry.
Yeah, slide into the Twitter DMs. I mean, I don't check the TikTok DMs. I don't know.
Not get in trouble. Do not get in trouble.
Plot twist.
All right. Streamlabs here real quick. Anonymous, do you think there will be an Agatha All Along season 2? Or will it be a Wiccan show?
Crystal Ball, stop spamming the chat or we'll boot you.
Oh, is someone doing that? Oh, sorry about that. Someone asked about Spider-Man 4. Okay, I'll put him in timeout for now. I'm not going to block him. Yeah, Jeff, do you think there's an Agatha All Along season 2, or will it be a Wiccan show? I don't know. Jeff doesn't really know these kinds of Marvel things. What would you say?
I don't know and don't care.
Fair point. I think there will be Agatha All Along season 2. I think they need it. I am Two Flight Cam says, Jeff, you're wrong on this one. Barbie made $1.5 billion without these chuds. Joe Rogan is a bestie with Musk, who is clearly a fascist. I'd rather see my Superman say no thanks to that toe-shaped idiots show. Wow. I am Two Flight Cam. Very strong words.
First of all, I am Two Flight Cam. Superman isn't going to sniff a $1.5 billion.
Wow.
I mean, it would be, I think it would be lucky to get half of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think 750 is kind of the ceiling here. So yeah, what was?
I would have to say this. Sarah Tiana, who's one of my favorite stand-up comics right now, she had a funny bit about Musk the other day, and she said the thing that Musk did, he's a businessman. He went liberal and sold his Teslas. And after he sold all the Teslas to all the liberals, he had a truck coming. He knew the liberals weren't going to buy a truck. So he became a white supremacist to appeal to the rednecks. And now they've bought his trucks. So, I mean, you might want to look at it that way, that it matters nothing to him because all he cares about is the money.
Superman is a movie that you have to sell to dude bros. Barbie was not a movie you have to sell to dude bros. You can get to $1.5 billion on Barbie without going on Joe Rogan. You can't on Superman. And you'll see.
Interesting. All right. Fred also says, hey, Hot Mike, showing support for letting the scoops out of the bag. But do you have any news about Star Wars? Jeff, anything on Star Wars, or are we good?
We're good.
Okay. All right. Jay says, there were rumors that Carrie Condon as the AI Friday and James Darcy as Jarvis would return in the Vision show, but in human form. Does this pass the smell test? I could totally see that, Jeff.
My nose is broken right now. So, I'm not even going to do the smell. No, I don't. I think it's like the Vision TV series. This is like the furthest reaches of my mind. I don't know or care.
I could see it happening, though, to be fair, because Carrie is very much on an upswing now. And, of course, James was such a big part of the Haley Atwell show. Jay says, also extremely happy that they hired Christopher Ross for cinematographer after his work on The Agency, The Day of the Jackal, and his Emmy-nominated work on Shogun. Marvel is finally making TV shows by hiring TV talent. Yeah, if that's the cinematographer they got, Jeff, I love The Agency. I love Day of the Jackal, and I love the Shogun. So
got off to a slow start, but I did stick with it, and I am glad that I did.
The Agency?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because they have 700 storylines. You've got to wait till they start to merge a little bit, and then you're on top of stuff. I loved it. I thought it was a good, surprising ending for The Agency.
It's good. If I get my top TV shows of the year list out eventually, I think that would be 15. I think that would be the last spot.
I like Jackal as well, and we're almost done with Lockerbie, and that's a fucking excellent show. Just very, very heavy. Very heavy.
I do kind of want to watch that show.
Dude, it's heavy, but I highly recommend it, Jeff. It's really well written, really well acted, and it's taking you on a fucking journey.
Did you watch Paradise?
No, I haven't started that yet. The James Marsden one, right? With
yeah, Sterling.
Sterling, all right. Sterling K. Wayne Edwards says, I agree with Jeff. Gunn going on Rogan's show wouldn't be a bad idea. A 3-hour combo between those two could be amazing. I have listened to Rogan's interviews for years. He has really interesting guests from all walks of life. Could be cool. Yeah. I think Gunn is the choice, right? That's the only one that should go on.
Yes, sure. But yes, he's the choice. He's the one who would be the best fit, all that. But like, if I'm Rogan, who do I want to talk to?
Probably Superman.
I want to talk to the new Superman. I want to know who the fuck this guy is.
You're right. So tell me about when you got the role. Like, what were you thinking when you got the role?
What's your gym routine? Like,
bro, how do you work out so much?
You gotta let us know David Cornsweat at some point.
Anthony V says, hear me out. I think Wicked can win Best Picture at the Oscars due to the ranked choice voting. What if all these other movies split number one, but Wicked is number two for most voters? At least among the people in my life, Wicked captured people's hearts. Yeah, I don't know if that would get. Maybe. I just think Brutalist is just such an odds-on favorite, man. I don't see anything touching that.
I think it's the favorite too, but I also can see a world where Wicked or Honora win due to the preferential ballot.
And I don't know that people would be that upset, to be honest with you, if Wicked won. I think there'd be some people that would gripe about it, some critics, but I think overall the public would be like, oh, this is a good choice. I don't have a fucking problem with it.
I think the thing with Wicked, the big thing that's holding it back is the fact that it's a part one of two.
Yeah.
People think that, oh, well, they'll just wait until the second one to reward it. Well, the second one isn't supposed to be as good as the first one.
And I wish they'd kill that attitude because that's what sank Dune. Oh, well, like we don't want to vote for it because we need part two to come out. Part two comes out. It is the best movie of the year, in my opinion. And it has no shot of winning Best Picture. So it's frustrating. If You Seek Amy says Mikey Madison is Brittany in a biopic. Ooh. I don't know if she looks like Brittany, but I don't say no. Jeff? Yeah? All right.
No.
All right.
I don't buy it.
Chris Cabrera says, love the show, guys. Oh, I'll say that again. Here we go. Mumra already said that. This one already said that. Okay, so that's it. Oh, yeah, here we go. Things of comics. Cavill Warhammer news. Could Zack Snyder direct? I haven't heard anything. Jeff, have you heard anything?
It actually seems like it would be a good pairing. Zack Snyder directing a Warhammer movie starring Henry Cavill. But I have not heard anything, and it sounds quiet.
I think he'd do a better job than he did on Rebel Moon. Captain Penis, do you think Jewish Dan will affect Big Tim? I don't know what that means. Is this a code?
No idea who Jewish Dan or Big Tim are.
Yeah, interesting. Buckteeth Bandit said, hey guys, hear anything about what's next for Sebastian Stan? He was incredible in A Different Man and The Apprentice. Yeah, Jeff, do you feel like people are going to look back on 2024 and years from now and be like, this is where Sebastian Stan made the turn to become one of our greatest actors currently working? You think?
Yes, potentially. If they didn't already think that with the Pam and Tommy show, which I really thought was like, whoa, who is this guy? Yeah, hell of a year for Sebastian Stan. Glad he got the nomination. He's doing a bunch of artsy fartsy shit next, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like working with European auteurs and like all like respectable choices, but nothing like too commercial, I don't think.
Little snooty. Ewok says Dan Brown's next Robert Langdon thriller was just announced. Who should take over that role from Tom Hanks if they adapt more of those books? Jeff, who should be the next Robert Langdon? That's a good question. Who is an everyman? Who is a Tom Hanksian actor right now?
I mean, Glenn Powell?
Stop being. That's no.
You can't see Glenn being.
I'm tired of seeing Glenn in everything. How about that? There's got to be other people.
It's a good question.
Adam Driver. Adam Driver. That's my answer.
Well, it's not bad,
right? He's got the hair. You could see him getting intense. He's an intelligent guy. Go ahead.
Okay, I've got one. I don't know if it's as good.
Okay.
What about Rami?
Rami Malek. Yeah, maybe. Is he a draw? I don't know if he's a draw.
Yeah, with The Amateur.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Could you see? Okay, here's a.
Okay.
I mean, you need a guy who projects some intelligence, right?
Yeah, that's why I liked it. Driver. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's two guys who I think are as really intelligent actors.
Okay.
Affleck.
Oh.
And Norton.
Edward Norton.
Ooh,
Norton's a nice.
Like, like if his leading man days are sort of passing by, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. He may be a little too old. But
what about Downey Jr.? Is he too old for that?
No, he'd be perfect.
Right?
He'd kind of be perfect. Do you see that rumor about him this week?
What rumor? Tell me.
That he's going to star in Nolan's next movie, that he couldn't do the Odyssey because of Doomsday, but Nolan's planning like something like right on the heels of the Odyssey that's going to be kind of down and dirty and smaller, and
I like that.
He would lead that. I don't know if I buy that just because Nolan doesn't really prep a second movie, while prepping a big one. But it was interesting.
I'll throw 4 other names out there real quick. Oscar Isaac is a possibility.
Yeah, he's along the Rami Malek lines.
Christian Bale is a possibility. Mark Ruffalo certainly radiates intelligence.
I can see that
possibility.
See that.
And if you really want to go, and certainly people have been talking about him coming back, is Clooney. He's a little old, but Clooney could be interesting.
He could actually be interesting.
Right? Do a little
in his past as well, but you're right. All those guys. You know what? That's a good list. Jack Quaid in the chat is also an interesting.
Jack Quaid. Yeah, I like that.
Young Robert Langdon.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, next.
All right. Mel just wants to know, Jeff, your penis size for $1. But I don't think you should give that out for $1.
I am tempted, but I do want to tell everybody, but I won't.
No.
I'll keep it classy. Can't have this going too viral.
All right, well, there you go. That's our show for today. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. We had well over 750 people joining us for a majority of the show. Thank you so much, Jeff. Please let people know where they can find you and subscribe to your newsletter.
TheInsnider.com, guys. All kinds of good scoops this week. I'm sure there'll be plenty of stuff coming out. I mean, as a scooper, you're always like freaking out. You're like, oh shit, that was the last scoop I had on my little pad of paper. Like, I don't have anything. What the fuck? But you know what? It always replenishes. You just got to pick up the phone and make the call. So TheInsnider.com. And again, my apologies to Antoine Fuqua this episode.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. As for me, you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky now. And please remember to subscribe. What's that?
You did the Blue Sky thing, Joe?
I jumped over about a month ago, I guess. Nowhere near the size I have on Twitter, but still, it's nice to build. But you can also subscribe to the channel down below. Please subscribe and hit that bell button so you see we're dropping all the content we do here. Leave your comments on all the things we talked about here on the show. I will have super chat. I will have time codes up, but it'll be a little bit because I got to grab some dinner and stuff. But please watch. Please look for that. And of course, the podcast, the Hot Mic, is its own podcast. So if you don't want to see our pretty faces, you can just listen to us, take us with you every day, and listen to our show if you like. All right, take care of yourselves. Be well. We'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of the Hot Mic. Peace.